Hey there, welcome to the vlog. I live, as some of you know, in the lower mainland of British Columbia, and here we have had some higher case numbers than usual, so we are entering sort of a second wave of lockdown, which means that we have 14 days of not being allowed to, visit friends. There's no social gatherings allowed at all for 2 weeks, and this has meant that many people, myself included, have had a little extra time to themselves, a little extra time to think, maybe a little too much time to think. And this, combined with all of the various political things going on in the United States, of course, uh, they've given us a lot of things to think about and a lot of things to argue about on the internet, for sure. All of this consistent fighting and arguing and bickering has caused me to adopt a sort of new personal philosophy on all of these very divisive issues. I've decided for my own sanity to focus on the ideal that I can only be me. I cannot police what other people want to do. I really don't have any say in what other people do. I can only control what I do. For example, I'm seeing a lot of arguments on the internet about that the BC government is not doing enough. People saying that, oh, so you're still going to let people go out to restaurants and stuff. It's not possible to enforce people doing what they want to do in their own houses. So people are just going to go out and do whatever the heck they want, and I'm going to sit at home, and I'm going to wind up stuck at home forever because everyone else is still going to go out. So they're going to make COVID a million times worse, and all of my hard work will be for nothing. And then there's also the opposite state of mind that the government has gone too far in trying to police the citizens and make demands on how we all behave. So after reading all of these arguments back and forth, even though I've been sort of thinking in my head, boy, I sure wish all these people would behave X way or this way or that way, I sort of realized that, yeah, I can really only be me. It's not up to me whether other people go out and party it up and do other stuff. And I've decided that I'm not going to worry too much about it unless I see something particularly egregious. I'm not going to, for example, call the cops on someone who had a couple of friends over. Are they doing the right thing right now? Probably not. But I also don't know their situation. I don't know what they're going through right now. And I just have this feeling that I'd be doing more harm than good. And the only thing I can really do is make sure that I don't invite any friends to my house. There's something I can control. My house shall be an invited guests free zone for the next 2 weeks, and I will not be going to anyone else's houses. I feel like this way of thinking applies to me on a political level as well. Warning, while I am not going to take an argument or take a stance, I'm going to start talking about US politics now. Feel free to stop the video if you've had enough of that, as a lot of us have. So I had a conversation with a friend of mine at work yesterday that I thought was really interesting. This guy I know to be a Trump supporter. We still hang out because that's another one of my personal philosophies is I'm trying not to cut people out of my life for having opinions that differ from my own. But I asked him how he was feeling about the questions about election meddling and whatnot. And he started talking about, yeah, a lot of shady things were done by the Democrats. These new ballot machines are fraudulently turning votes towards the Democratic side, and that these windows are being boarded up at these counting sites so nobody can see in. And in my head, while he's saying these things, I'm thinking that, oh, he's just feeding into the party line, what's been told to him. My response to him was just, yeah, man, I'm all for the electoral process being as transparent as possible. Perhaps some of these allegations are true. I'm totally all for them taking these issues to court and checking them out. I personally don't think there's any wrongdoing there, but everything should be examined from both sides, particularly an election, and we just want to make sure everything turns out the right way. And he kind of agreed, and he was like, yeah, it's a good way of thinking. And we got to talking, and he said, Democrats probably won this election, but I'm just not happy with the lack of transparency in the process. And I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever you can do to make the process more transparent, that's cool. In this argument, I made some points that I myself did not agree with, saying stuff like, yeah, you may be right about maybe there was some tampering. I don't personally believe that the Democratic Party tampered with this election at all. I believe that Biden won it fair and square, and I don't understand why that's such a controversial opinion. But I feel like the best way to turn people towards your side is to almost pretend to agree with them in a weird way. I feel like you gotta put yourself on their side, put yourself in their frame of mind when conversing with them. But long story short, by telling them, hey man, your points are valid, you should look at this and this, but also, I don't think anything wrong was done. I feel like I was able to bend his point of view like 5% in my direction. What I am very confident of is if I had turned to him and said like, no, dude, that's dumb. Biden won the election. Get over it. Do you think that would have made him be like, oh man, this guy has a point here. Maybe I am an idiot. No, that's not how people operate. I really feel like by being friendly to people and by trying to understand their point of view, or at least pretending to understand their point of view, you don't have to agree with them. I don't know. I think that goes a long ways. Anyway, I apologize for getting political. That's not typically what this vlog is for. Starting with my next video, we'll get back to my fun music history discussions. And also, I would like to point out that, again, this is just my personal philosophy, and there are a lot of people who will probably see this video and think that I'm dead wrong on that, and that this is the time to hold the things you stand for closest to you and fight as hard as you can to make things right. And hell, you might be the one that's right. The irony is not lost on me of making a video telling other people not to tell other people what to do. I'm just kind of sharing what's seemed to work with me during this weird year of 2020. It's created a situation where I can feel like I've done some good and tried to move the needle of other people's opinions a tiny little bit in everyday conversation, while also not losing any friends in the process. I just feel like the relationships that we make in life are too valuable to throw them away based on differing opinions. And again, just because that sounds nice and fun doesn't necessarily mean that I'm correct. I could be wrong on all this. I could be coddling people whose opinions are dangerous. There's a lot of arguments about why I could be right and a lot of arguments about why I could be wrong. But let's do it civilly, alright? I will get back to some super fun music history discussion a little bit later this week. I can't wait. See you guys real soon.